Hey, Scholar, whose book are you reading now?
I'm enjoying a great reading by Stephannie Solomon. Her conversational writing style, disciple-centric themes, and liberal approach to topics is such a blessing to me. She's so on point.
Wow, she sounds like someone I want to hear, and her book's like something I need to share with my book club.
You know her books are accessible through all electronic mediums and at the brick-and-mortar booksellers, and you can hear her on her weekly blog talk radio show.
I take it she's on Twitter and other social networks?
Yes, and she's funny, too.
Sounds like the author and her books have great personality. I'll be getting my copies today.
Well, hello, everybody. Looks like we are, here we go. Let's see, it's not coming up. There we go. Hi, everybody, here, there, and everywhere. Looks like we're trying to have some technical difficulty. I am not claiming that. Let's get right up there. We are. All right. Happy first day of spring to everybody. Welcome to Winning Ways. I'm your host, Stephannie Solomon, and thank you for tuning in. I see people jumping on. We are live. Thank you for stopping over to Winning Ways. I'm your host, Stephannie Solomon. Would you please hit the subscribe button as I am trying to grow the community over here in YouTube land. All right. And don't forget to share and comment. I see some of the comments are popping up. Thank you. Well, tonight I have guests on tonight, and I'm excited about my two guests. They are representing the genre of jazz, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves, okay? And they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves, and then we're going to move forward with some questions that they are so excited to answer. Our first guest is Mary Cross. Hi, Mary.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much, everybody that's tuned in. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Stephannie, for having us today as your guest on the show, Winning Ways. I'm so happy to be here, Winning Ways. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. And we have Miss Karol Harmon.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karol Harmon, CEO of Jazz Flow Productions. And I echo Mary's sentiments. Stephannie, thank you ever so much for having us on today. And thank you, guests, for tuning in.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get started. This is Women's History Month. I want to say Women's Empowerment Month. Women's History Month. And my guests are doing great things that I believe my listeners can benefit from, especially the female audience, and understand that, hey, if they can do it and follow a dream and build and expand and explore, so can you. All right, ladies, the two of you know each other. How did the two of you meet? And when you met, how did you learn that you had a common interest?
Oh, I think Karol should answer that.
Well, yeah. I attended the 2022 Berks Jazz Festival, and it was the late night jam. Gerald Beasley had a late night jam one night. I think it was a Friday night, and he invited this lady in the audience to come on stage. He said, "Oh, Mary Cross is in the building. Let us come on stage and sing something for us, Mary." And let me tell you, when she opened her mouth, she blew me. Not me. Everyone in that jam session away. The audience went crazy and wild. It was right then and there. I said, I have to connect with her. I have to bring her to the DMV and let everyone hear this phenomenal woman. I connected with her, and I think about 4 or 5, 6 months passed. I called her, and she said yes. And the rest is her story.
I love it. Now, Karol, why did you decide to start Jazz Flow Productions?
It was because of my love for music. I was introduced with music at a very early age. My father singing, playing his albums, my siblings singing. My two sisters, my oldest brother, I was just in awe of their talent, and the music that they chose resonated with me at an early age. And the singing part skipped me, so I didn't have that part. I just had the love for music, and I engrossed myself in music anytime I could get a chance, going to jazz concerts, the festivals. I've been going to festivals for 20 years. And every January, I start and develop and circulate a calendar with all the jazz festivals and concerts from January all the way through November. I just love jazz music, and it was their influence at an early age that prompted me to do this. And as so, music became my sanctuary.
Wow. Wow. Well, it's a beautiful thing too. This is very unique how you chose to honor your father. I was reading your um, about you on your website, and you mentioned how this is a part of honoring your father, and I thought this was so unique. It's a living thing, you know. You know, it's just breathing what he instilled in you into others, you know, from generation to generation. It's a very unique honor. Mary,
Yes, indeed.
have you always loved singing?
Yes, I've loved singing, and since I discovered that I could sing, which was at the age of 12 when I was mimicking my voice to sound like Captain and Tennille. But yes, and then I went to church, and I, you know, enjoyed and loved church, and was in the choir and traveled with the choir, and did my first solos and duets there with Felicia Beverly, who was our choir director and a tri-state choir director as well. So it's always been something that I've loved to do. Music has just always been with me. And I just always felt I had an old soul because I just love all that kind of music, especially jazz and classic soul and R&B. It's been a wonderful journey.
Now, when did you hone in on jazz?
I honed in on jazz at an early age because I loved watching Nancy Wilson and Phyllis Hyman. Now, Phyllis could actually sing more than just jazz, but when I watched these artists perform and I saw the black and white movies, there was a lot of music that was so engaging and it had great storylines. But I fell deeply in love with jazz as I grew older because of the storylines, the fact that it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's an intimate way that you're expressing yourself, and it's interpretive. So I think that it's more of a genuine way that the deep cries out to deep, and you're able to just bring forth whatever it is that you feel about that music when you're singing those lyrics or listening to, somebody playing an instrument.
Wow. Now you've been dubbed the mother of cool smoke.
Yeah.
What is cool? What is that? What's cool smoke?
So the way they explained it to me, there were some radio hosts from the Atlantic City area, and they came up with this idea that that's what they described my voice as, a package. They said that when you have cool smoke, usually that's a way that you take different types of products that people want to eat, and you smoke them, cold smoke them, or cool smoke them. And he said that your voice reminds me of that kind of preservative, like something that is a natural thing that you put into what you give forth as a package, like your attire, the way you wear your hair, the things that you do. Because, I wear gowns and hats during my performances, the songs that I choose to sing. I can sing any music, any genre of music, but I have a tendency to stick towards or lean towards jazz and classic soul and things that bring back memories with people. So they dubbed me that because they felt like you really do indeed just embody that whole thing about how you just take something and make it a product or a package that people can really feel is preserving what we consider to be classic soul and classic jazz in the way that you present your stage presence and all that other stuff. So I said, oh, that's awesome. So I just adopted it and said, okay, I'll be your mother of cool smoke.
You mentioned, I like what you said about stage presence.
Yeah.
I would think to do what you do, even you, Karol, to come out and talk to the audience or whatever, I would imagine that there's a high level of confidence that's needed to stand before, your fans, and to do that, whether they're strangers, fans, friends, family, was the confidence to stand before people always there? Or does it fluctuate from time to time? And how do you deal with it?
Mm-hmm. Is that me or Karol?
Both of you, actually.
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay. I was going to say that personally, for me, earlier on, I was told by some mentors that I had that were in the singing kind of circle that the best thing to do, or way to face your fears, is to go up there and confront them head on. You have to have the courage to do what you do, because if not, you're not going to make it, because the anxiety and all that are things that can actually overwhelm you. So what I found is that through the years, this really happened early on. I was really happy that this happened to me. I was able to take all of the fear and the uncertainty and the anxiety and be able to boldly go forth. And until, you know how they say, you got to convince people of whatever it is. So I had to convince them. And then by doing that, convince myself that I actually was able to do what I needed to do, because the fear can actually work against you. But if you use it properly, it can be a fuel to help you. And it's always been something that I utilize in that way. The more fearful I am of something, the more emboldened I am to go forth and do it and confront it and deal with it. And I still get flutters and butterflies and all that before interviews like this, as well as when I go on stage. So it never leaves. It's always there, but I use it as something that is helping me rather than a hindrance.
Yeah, yeah. I even heard someone say that it's good to have some level of stress, you know, and anxiety. They call it good stress.
Right. Right.
I think it's a problem when we just get cocky and get out there like, I got this. You know?
That's right. That's right.
Karol, what about you?
Well, I've always had that can-do attitude. I was the smallest of all of my siblings, so I didn't have chance to foster any fear. I've always had this innate confidence in me that I could do it, but something inside of me would always say, are you sure? And that was when I would just, hone into my faith and, kind of like stay close to God and ask God for his guidance. But in terms of fear, I never had a fear. It's just like, I figured, my dad would always say, my mom would say, if anybody else can do it, you can do it, and so they nurtured that kind of confidence in me. And I just went forth and prospered, I guess. Not saying, just like Mary said, not saying that I don't have those butterflies, but I kind of shrug it off because I know what God has placed in me.
Awesome. I like something you brought up, your faith, and is it safe to say, and this is to both of you, is it safe to say that your faith has played and remains a strong role or part?
For sure.
Yes,
sure.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Faith, for me, it's faith, trust, confidence, and love.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Expound on that.
Well, for me, faith in God and in myself, trusting myself, knowing my strengths and what weaknesses I have, confident in knowing that I can do things based on who I am as a woman, who I am as a person, and then knowing if I do everything in love, and that's the guiding principle. If you're doing everything in love, pure love casts out all fear. And so I try to keep those 4 factors as my grounding force.
Oh, absolutely awesome. Mary,
I was going to say, I reiterate what she said. That is so true. Personally speaking, God has always had such a major presence in my life through so many tumultuous things that I've gone through with my childhood and things of that nature. So, it's either fight or flight. And I found that if I had not had faith and had not had God with me every step of the way, there is absolutely no way I would be here today, let alone able to do the things that I've been able to do. I acknowledge him through everything. And that is why I know that with music, it's a healing balm. It is something that you can talk to people and connect folks from every walk of life. It's something that everybody can relate to on some way, shape, or form. You have people from different countries that can't speak your language, but they can sing the songs that are recorded. So I find that it's so important for us to always be connected to God in everything that we do. And had it not been for him, there is absolutely no way that I would be able to do any of this. And I know and acknowledge him through it all. And that's the whole thing about being inspired. You want to actually be able to inspire fellow in. You want to make a difference in somebody else's life. You want to be a light that so shines before men. You want to make sure that everything that you're doing it to honor God. So that I remember some time ago, Yolanda Adams had said something about when people look at her, she hopes that she exudes such a light that is like a mirror, that they in turn would want to question, how can I be a better person? How can I have my light shine so brilliantly and make a difference in the lives of other people? It's really not about us. It's about what we can give and what we can do for others. And I'm telling you, this has been a major part of my journey has always been about people and connecting with people and loving on people. So that love factor that Karol mentioned it's everything. To me, it's everything. If I don't have that, there's no way I can operate in any of this. So I'm just grateful to God for what he's done. And extending grace to people is so important. So I just think that the walk that we're taking, it's far greater and far bigger than we are. And we have to acknowledge that and understand that, live in the moment to know how can we make a difference in the lives of the people that we touch or are connected to. That quote that I have that says, may every space that you occupy be better off simply because you pass through. You want to bless people. You want to make a difference. You want to encourage them. And if you're not doing that, I really don't know what the point is.
I'm so glad you said that, because my next question, because you were going into my next question was, Mary, what is it that you want people to walk away with? And you said encouragement.
Yes.
You're singing. Do you actually feel you're giving something? And I want to just add this real quick before you answer that, before I present one of the comments that one of the viewers said. I think oftentimes when whatever assignment it is that we have, we forget, especially those of us who know whose we are and who we are. That really what it is that we're doing is an offering to God.
Yes.
I really learned and experienced that with my second book. And I was with a mentor of mine, and I was asking her, she's a professor, English professor, as well as a preacher. But anyway, she was going through my book, and I'll never forget, she said, you want to remember that this is an offering to God. You ever have someone say something to you that you don't fully grasp in the moment?
Yes.
Know that you have just been a major, meaty word.
Yes.
And I knew that it wasn't some flippant thing that this older, wise woman spoken to me.
Yeah.
That was let me see, that second book was written in 2009.
Wow.
So that was 2008 when she was reviewing it, was published in 2009. Ever since then, and another book has been published since then.
Right.
But ever since then, those words I've been impregnated with those words.
Wow.
Yeah.
She spoke that seed into me. Anything I do, I even looked at, because I was podcasting then. I started podcasting. No, I started podcasting in 2010. Okay. So everything I started doing, which was an offshoot from one thing to another, I started looking at differently. I started looking at service differently.
Wow.
Yeah. I started looking at going to work differently.
Yes.
I had a principal who was saved. He's dead and gone, bless his soul. I'll never forget when that came late, and I was just late. And he met me in my classroom. We had the talk later. And I'll never forget, he said to me gently and kindly, he said, remember, this is a ministry. Wow. So it wasn't just a job.
Right.
And so then years later, when this other sainted woman of God speaks to me and tells me it's an offering.
Yeah.
It has made me look at everything, even what we're doing here tonight.
Yes.
Even though I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely.
Somebody say, oh, it's a hobby. Call it what you want. Right. It could be a hobby, it could be my job, it could be a business. I don't care.
Right.
My attitude, even the relationship with you two.
Yes.
How I handle you. Offering to God. And I think it's easy for any of us, me included, to not be aware of that or to know that they forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But what we're doing is so minute, that this is such a small matter. This is taking care of our kids,
Come
Yeah.
on.
how we wear our clothes,
Yes.
Yes,
how we
ma'am.
present ourselves to the world,
Mm.
how we tell a joke. Oh, let me,
Yes.
all of that is an offering to God. So,
Mm,
when you're standing there singing, as you were just talking, all that was running through my head. I'm like,
mm.
yeah, yeah. And we're being blessed by your range,
Mhm.
your even the way you stand. You said something earlier about stage presence.
Yes,
Mm.
That's
yes.
a big deal because a person can have. I remember, I think it was Angela both loved her music. But when I
Uh-huh.
got to see her, I was disappointed. And I
Mm,
remember sharing with someone and they were saying, yeah, she's a recording artist.
mm.
And she didn't know how to present herself on stage.
Wow.
You know
Oh.
what I mean?
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some things are taught, and as you said, Carol, I know her as K World. You it's innate with you. You use
Yes.
that word innate.
Yeah.
Some people, it's just who they are. It's what
Yeah.
they do.
Yes,
Mm.
There's
yes.
Mm.
it's. I mean, you can hone your craft,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not too hard for some people because they're born with this passion, this gift, this whatever, and they'll learn things along the way.
Yes.
But you will always see that one come through all the time.
That's right.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know.
Woo! You
So when
saying something.
so
Yes.
I said all that to say. So Mary, when people are listening to you,
Mm-hmm.
because you did mention encouragement, you want them to be encouraged. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you want them to walk away with?
Yeah, to be inspired and to remember that all things come from God, the great things about music and the people who have been here before us, the ancestors that went before us. And I think that music has a way of when people, it's like a time machine. It takes people back to a moment.
Mm.
It's such a gift and an honor to not only be able to stand before people and give your interpretation of a song, but to be able to honor God through it because of what joy you get from it and what you hope that it gives to the people who are listeners.
Right.
That means everything to me. I always ask them, did you get your money's worth? Did you experience joy? Did I make you
Mm.
feel good? That's what matters to me. Because if you didn't feel that, then I haven't done what I love to do. And this comes to me like I would like to sing for the rest of my life because it's like breathing to me.
Wow.
And I don't take this as lightly. I don't take it as anything less than giving my very best and to all of his people, like whoever it is. If you hear me speak or you hear me sing
Amen.
or you just see me walking around somewhere, I want to honor him in everything that I do. So that is like, it's everything to me, seriously.
Amen. Amen. I said, Robin says, amen, ladies, testify. And I don't want to mispronounce your name, but I know your first name begins with a K and last name is Roberts.
Yes.
And she says, I've seen artists like that who have nothing to say to the audience. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And then we have, I don't know if this is a handle, Zaloop. And he says,
That's one of our sound engineers and a musical director.
oh,
Okay.
okay. He says, great interview with three strong ladies. Can you speak to how jazz is connecting with audiences and new people today?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Carol?
Yeah,
Sure.
Kay, I think that may be yours because I remember you were talking about some time ago how you wanted to.
Yeah, introduce new artists, bring new artists to the forefront, new and upcoming artists, the younger
Yes.
folks that are coming on the scene now, exposing them to new audiences, and just making them feel as comfortable, but also letting jazz know it hasn't gone anywhere. Jazz
Right.
lover, jazz is alive and it's well. And there are new kids and new people are coming up.
Come
And
on.
they love jazz just as much as we did. And
Right.
they're actually opening up that American songbook and giving us some new flavor.
Yes,
And so just like I can mention Samara Joy. You know,
Yes.
she's all the buzz now. And, you
I
know,
know.
and they're saying that she's bringing back old school jazz. Well, I think she is reintroducing us
Yeah,
to the American Songbook.
come on now.
Because we have people all over. We have Jasmine Horn, we have Catherine Russell,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have Mary Cross, who have been on the front lines. But these are new young artists who are coming up and saying, you know what? I love what my mom and dad loved. I love what my grandparents loved. And so now I want to bring it out to you and bring new jazz or new lovers, young lovers to jazz.
I love it, Carol. I love it. That was so good.
Amen. Amen. And I believe that Jazz Flow Productions is going to do just that. I really do. Speaking of Jazz Flow Productions, Carol, what were, if any, what were your high points in starting this? And low points of starting this organization, because I'm sure it's common to people, but sometimes people, when they're starting a new venture, and it doesn't always have to be entrepreneur, it could be, I was going to say private, it could just be anything, that we're doing ministry, working for a nonprofit organization, or maybe getting married, starting a new relationship, maybe starting a new job, that whole newness, going into unfamiliar territory. What were some of the high points for you with this new vision? And what were some of the low points?
Well, going to jazz concerts and jazz festivals and saying, I told my sister, I said, I can do this. And she said, you know what? That's all I heard. And then from there on, you did it. It was me planning and executing this Jazz Flow production. It was learning new things about producing jazz concerts, the backlining, the sound engineer, all the things that Mary said, oh, do you have that? Do you have this? And I was like, no, but I'm going to get it. I'm going to learn about it. And it was all the folks who were out there, the artists who was out there and telling me all the new things, all the things that I had to get and had to learn. And so it just stretched me in a way, in an area that I didn't, because sometimes we get rooted into a rut, and this is the way we think we're going to go and into our old age. But it doesn't have to be, things can stretch you in a way that you can reinvent yourself. Oh, I like that. Jazz Flow Production is now reinventing Karol Harmon in a way, through God. Through God, I have to be clear on that. Through God, He's allowing all this to happen in a way that I'm stretching myself, and He's stretching me, because the bounds is limitless. It's just limitless as to what you can do. He said, little becomes much when it's placed in the Master's hand. So come on now. Learning new things, meeting new people, meeting new artists, introducing, Mary said, the encouragement and the inspiring. I'm bringing new artists to the DMV. I'm introducing new artists to the DMV. People they've never heard before. They were just blown away. That's why Mary Cross is back by popular demand at the second show, April the 29th, because people were just blown away, as I was in Berks 2022. I mean, now talk about the low points, because there were some low points. It was me initially not knowing what I did not know, and what I didn't need, what I needed to know, and research, because sometimes you jump out there and then without researching, you have to do your research. That was some of the low points, and just me getting a little setback and saying, okay, now I need to regroup. And then having dependable and support. That could be both high and low, because some people attach themselves to an idea. Girl, and putting it in operation here. So having those supports or those mentionable support, and then finding that you no longer have that lifeline. But then on the other side, the flip side, in the high part, finding that you do, because when you shake a tree, all the dead fruit goes off, but the one that remains,
Come on
it
now.
makes it stronger. And so I'm so fortunate to have people, when I shook the tree, or when the tree was shook, they remained there and they're still there.
Yes.
That's good. That was good.
Get a drummer some.
I love it. Oh my God.
I love it. Oh my God. This
was
is
awesome.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm loving the comments that are being said. I need you all. I love the engagement. I really do. I need you all to stop by and hit. If you're on Facebook, you're not on YouTube, I do need you, as soon as we get off of this, to please stop by and subscribe to Winning Ways. Just subscribe. I need to grow the community. All right. And you need to share this link so that other people know what's happening with Jazz Flow Productions. Other people are exposed to Mary Cross and all that she brings. All right. Share. All right. Madison says, this is an awesome interview. Music is therapy for the soul. Now, this is coming from somebody. It's therapy. But it is so true, though. It's true. It is therapy. It really is. Martina Grant says, Mary also has a protege with her in the band. Mary always, where did it go? Mary always works with the young generation of musical artists and actresses. Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
So I have this thing where I always want to help a younger person or younger people who are interested in music to get where they're trying to go, because I didn't have that kind of support. And I think when you know what it's like not to have that, you really, really want to encourage others. So that is one of the other things with it being about to inspire you. We want to make a difference in the lives of people, and you shouldn't want to hog it all for yourself. One of the things I've also learned being in this business, and Karol may be able to attest to this, sometimes you have folks that ain't trying to help you go nowhere. They're not interested in anything. They want to keep stuff close to the chest, and they're not willing to share, not realizing that the generosity and giving is that we all benefit from it. It's not something where my gifts are similar to yours, so much so that it will take away something that you're trying to do. And I've always been one to give. A closed hand, you can't, that makes no sense. I don't even understand it. But the logic behind it is that we always want to still be giving it back. It doesn't matter if it's to a young person who needs something, or if it's to someone who asks you a question or anything. And from any walk of life in any situation, I think it's important for us to be willing to be generous with who we are. And speaking of that, Chad being Z-Flop on here, he has been so gracious and a big help to us. He has been one who has been an engineer for the music that we're releasing. He has been supportive with our sound. It's just wonderful. And Abby, that's Abby Love. That's we call her. She's 17 and she is a high school student, and I adore her. She is amazing as a vocalist. That is her stage name, Abby Love. People can go to YouTube and see her as well. And she is amazing. And I think that what we fail to realize is that it's so wonderful to be able to see the newer generations able to do something. We spoke about it earlier, Stephannie. It's so important. But they didn't invent the wheel. Right. But it's important for us, if we have knowledge that we can share, we're supposed to do that freely. I will always be about that above everything else. I think that if we're not doing that, then the purpose is not fulfilled. And the legacy is through those that you are helping and you're connected to, the same way our ancestors connected to us. It's bigger than us. It's so far bigger and greater. And truly, when you talk about shaking the tree, Kay, the chaff is separated from the wheat.
Yes.
When God does what he does, those who are left there are the ones who are supposed to be there. I don't even worry anymore when folks are removed, however he removed them. Thank you. I got nothing.
Right.
No question.
Well, one of the things is one of the things I started during the pandemic is being a life coach, a certified life coach, and it's called Evolve Life. That's the thing that I've been really focused on, this whole evolution piece. Everyone is not going to evolve with us, and that's really okay.
Yeah. Right.
It's not it's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody is not growing at the same rate. Everyone doesn't like what we like. We're fearfully and wonderfully made, and that means that we're different. And being different is not bad.
Right.
What I find what's bad is when you understand and you are self-aware enough to know, like when you were talking, Kay, about you were self-aware at a young age, that you knew what was in your package. You knew what you were carrying.
Yeah.
Some people don't, but when you know what you're carrying and you shrink, and you reduce
Oh my
make people around us feel okay with us. That's the problem. So the whole evolution piece it's a big deal. And so evolving means that we can want to aspire for more. I know I never forgot, I dated a guy and told me I was too ambitious.
Oh, goodness.
I'm like, here I am, poor little girl from Cherry Hill, living next to the heat house, and all the stuff, eating the cheese and all that.
Yeah.
You're telling me I'm too ambitious? I don't want to continue to live like this.
Right.
I'm putting in the work. Somebody else who I don't even know what she looked like.
Right.
I just know it's not this.
My goodness.
But there are people who just go with us, and we have to make a decision that that's okay. At the same token, as we are growing, you mentioned about helping. I am, in my eyes, I am not where I would love to be. As an author or whatever. I'm still growing. I'm just growing this community. It takes nothing from me to invite them. I have learned when I invite other authors on and other people who are working it out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the fulfillment. I'm like, oh wow.
Yes.
Instead of just focusing in my lane on my stuff.
Yes.
When I look at someone else's, when I go to conferences, conventions, and I'm in a room with other vendors, I network. And I end up having some of them on the show. So it's like, hey, while I'm going up, I'm taking somebody with me.
Yes.
And it's nothing for us to do.
Well said.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Yes, Stephanie.
This is a wonderful interview and it's refreshing. I'm so glad that it is. Miss Roberts said everyone can't go with us. Miss Madison says it is important to know that people are in your life for a season. Oh, come on now. Even the negative interaction can propel you. I know.
Yes.
Propel you forward with your dream goals. And I thought I saw on here somebody said we were having church. Here it is. Somebody said this is like a church service. But this is good. This is what happens though when kindred spirits get together.
Yes.
This is what happened when that's why we gotta. I tell my clients often, and it's a challenge for some of them because they haven't grown yet. But I tell them learn to enter into foreign spaces.
Beautiful.
Don't be afraid to go into rooms where you don't know the language.
Yes.
Don't be afraid. In Baltimore, we're known for being the word too funny and don't be afraid to be in rooms.
My goodness.
Deflection, their inflection is different. Don't be afraid.
Right.
That's right.
Places where people know things that you don't know.
Yes.
Right.
Be a little intimidated because the knowledge is above your head.
Right.
Always in confined spaces where everybody's thinking like and doing it like there's no growth there.
Right.
There's no. What does Robin say here? She says, I can't even read it. She says, I can't even read it. It disappeared.
I see it.
What does
It
it say?
says definitely therapy. Yes, Abby love. Sing, Mary, laugh out loud.
I love it.
Oh, so good. We're gonna bring this to a close, ladies, and I gotta have y'all back again, right? I love live engagements, because I'm mostly doing this podcast is just me talking this,
Right.
and then the people will chime in here and there, but it is really nice to have this type of engagement. It really is. But so as we leave with your wisdom, can you guys share, what advice would you give to someone contemplating a fresh adventure right now? They're afraid, they're unfamiliar, but they know they have something burning in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say this before you guys say it. Don't be afraid to fail.
Great.
Brace failure.
Mm-hmm.
Success without failure is not an option. My thing is, because in order to be successful, you gotta realize you're not perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And it is those, like you said, Kay, about the naysayers and the mockers and the scoffers really propel us.
Yeah.
Well, I believe failure and falling down propels us too. So don't be afraid to fall. Don't be afraid to fail. Ladies, would you chime in on that? What advice would you give someone who's thinking about it, but had their doubts and fears?
I would say research. If it's burning in you, have the tenacity to see it through. Do everything out of love, because if you have vain or selfish ambitions, it won't prosper the way God has intended for it to go.
Right.
And everything has a flow. That's why I have Jazz Flow. And then, by all means, have fun. Because if you're not having fun, it's nothing.
I'm having fun tonight, y'all.
I am too.
That's awesome. Oh my God, I love that.
Mary, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would say that there are no do-overs in life. So whatever you're going to do, you have to set yourself on that path, have that mindset. No matter what happens, you have to be able to stick with it. One of the things that I've noticed when you get into even any business that you open or something that you decide to take on as an endeavor, a lot of times when the people leave, when they all go home back to their lives, because life happens, then you are standing there by yourself, or you're late in the midnight hour. So you have to have the wherewithal to say, in spite of whatever happens, I'm committed to this dream. I'm committed to this purpose. I'm committed to this endeavor, and you cannot let it loose. And there are going to be ebbs and flows. Some days are going to be better than others, but you are going to be your best advocate. You are going to be your best cheerleader. You got to be able to say, no matter what happens, I am going to continue to go. And I've had days that were so bad that I wanted to quit. And I've had days that were so high that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm doing this. But whatever it is, you have to know that there are going to be days like that. And you are your best advocate. You must continue no matter what it looks like. No matter what, you have got to stick with it. Because you never know. They say it comes to pass. Right. Anything that comes, it doesn't stay. It comes to pass. It's not going to be trouble always. It's not always going to be a bad day. It's not always going to be a bad situation. You will make it through that. But you have to believe and you have to be committed to it, whatever it is. Don't give up, because people do go home. Yeah. People go back to their lives. They want to see you do well, but they can't be there for everything.
Amen. Amen, Mary. Love it. Amen.
Those of you, I love that you all are being interactive and you're hitting the comments. Can you also hit the like and the share? Also, a few likes coming up. But if you can hit that like, let YouTube know that there's some activity going on over here.
Yes, absolutely.
Hit that thumbs up. Hit that sweetheart. Yeah.
One thing, please, Stephannie. I want to, in addition to thanking you for having us on, sharing your platform with us, I want to thank Karol for sharing her platform that she had with me, and also the opportunity to actually perform at Jazz Flow Productions back in October, as well as the April 29th show. it has been a wonderful experience to see that fellow women will lift you up. They'll hold your arms up. They will hold your arms up and they will support you. And there is no malice, nothing but love, genuine love in everything, even how they received us. And when people see your potential, that is the greatest gift anybody will ever give you. And people need to know that. I don't care what it seems like. Sometimes it's all in how you say something to somebody, or they might be having a bad day and going through something. You have no idea what it is. But if you see somebody's potential, just believe in them. Give them a little bit of yourself and stop being selfish. You will see that it'll actually bless you also. And I'm just so grateful. And I always like to acknowledge with gratitude people who have lifted me up, held up my arms, supported me. And I'm just so grateful to even those who are online today and are interacting with us. It just means so much. Yes. I'm so grateful. And I thank you so much again, Stephannie and Karol, for you. You're just a blessing to me.
Thank you so much, Mary, for your gift. Thank you, Stephannie, for your gift. Mary, I appreciate you and bless you so much. Can't wait to see you in person.
I can't wait to see you either.
Well, as we bring this to a close, Mary, you have any scheduled performances that we need to know about? Anything?
Yes. Oh, well, this Sunday, or next Sunday, I should say, on the 26th of March, I'll be at the annual Women's Tea at the Adventure Aquarium in Camden, New Jersey, sponsored by the Mayor's Office. I will be on April 22nd at the Food Truck Festival fundraiser at the Lighthouse Sports Complex at the Eagles. You know, some of the Eagles players will be there. I don't know their names because I'm not into sports like that. I will be with NGMV, and I'm looking forward to seeing you both there for that at the Hilton in Ithaca, Maryland. On May 20th, I'll be at Wilson's Live Music. The last 9 shows have sold out consecutively, so you might want to try and get your tickets. And I'm at a private event May 27th. Then I'm at the Philadelphia Convention Center for a Norman Connors tribute on Saturday, June 3rd. And there's so many others. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to just stop there.
Whoa!
So is there social media platform, website where people can go?
Sure. So my website is marycrossmusic.com, and my social media platforms is, Mary Cross Sings on Twitter. It's Mary Cross Sings on Facebook. It's the number 2, the letter N, Inspire You with the letter U for my TikTok, and Instagram, I think, is Mary Cross Music. So I'm everywhere. You can find me. If you Google, it'll come up, But if you go to my website, you'll see all the dates that I have posted so far as to where I'll be performing at. So grateful.
I really like that I saw you on TikTok.
Did you? What? I got to check it out.
When I saw it, I say, there you go, girl. Don't forget.
There's a quote that I wanted to share with you guys. When I saw this, it blessed me. Michelle Yeoh, I'm probably not pronouncing her name right, for the Academy Awards, she said, don't let anybody tell you you are ever past your prime.
Whoa. I know that's
powerful.
That is so
powerful.
Ageism is real.
Yeah,
ageism is real. There are people who will tell you what you doing.
Right.
What you doing? You're a baby boomer. What you doing? You on TikTok?
Right.
You 60-some on your TikTok. And I'm gonna tell you, it's the TikTokers who I get the most commitments from for my clients.
There you go.
Right.
That's the audience. And as you said, Karol, about the audience.
Yes.
The new audience, they are the ones who are open-minded for it.
Yeah, for sure.
They're open-minded. Karol, what upcoming events from Jazz Flow?
Well, I have the show that's coming up April the 29th. It's going to feature Mary Cross, backed by popular demand, and the Bell Family Group. So that's going to be a young artist, 20 years old. He's coming out. He's playing the sax. He's accompanied by his father, who is a drummer, Poogie Bell. Okay. And Poogie has been a Grammy and Emmy Award winner. So come out. Don't miss the show. It's going to be a blast. As Don Cornelia said, it's all going to be a stone game.
Stone. I'm excited. I am looking.
I just want to mention my website, if I can, www.jazzflowproductions.com. Thank you so much. Again, Stephannie.
Awesome.
Mary.
Thank you, ladies, for saying yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Remember to subscribe, like, share, tell everybody about it. The websites. Look for everybody on social media. Ladies, thank you for your yes.
Thank
You're
you.
doing what you're doing. All right. Everybody,
Thank you.
Lord willing, I'll see you all next Monday. Take care.